Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Leo. If Leo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay. All right, Leo. Oh, wow. Immediately I pull this up and it looks like a fox maybe, or like a donkey's head. We have the ears, the eyes, and then the mouth kind of. So this whole gazing down this way, kind of in almost like, what is that called? Like a soft gaze, right? In that kind of meditative, contemplative state when you are beginning to center yourself and, go to that in-between place where we can see kind of visions and messages and, abstractions and things from the subconscious or unconscious kind of come up into our view. So that's pretty interesting. And you know what? It kind of fits with the card, and we'll go look at that in a minute. I already kind of feel like this is going to be a bit of a kind of spiritual interior work kind of reading. Okay. And let's see. Let's kind of turn this. It's hard to unsee something so big once you see it in the bowl there. But we're gonna turn it. We're gonna see what else is going on here. And hopefully we're getting some more Leo views. I don't know what it is about Leo, but I don't get a lot of views from my Leo friends. So I'm hoping that will change. All right. Okay. This is interesting a little bit. It's kind of a foreshadowing in a way. We have, because I do 2 readings a night now, I'm doing Leo Virgo, and my Virgo card that I chose is the Hanged Man. And here we have, it looks like, let's get it tilted this way. It kind of looks like what the Hanged Man, like how you would draw the stick man, right? So, goodness, let's get started with this. I feel like there has been a strong kind of draw towards nostalgia, but kind of a feeling of wanting to return to a previous state, maybe just kind of your childhood in general, maybe like your childhood home, a place that felt, so big. It's even if you lived in a small home, right? It feels so large, so expansive, like your own little kingdom. And when you kind of return as you get older, you're like, wow, the rooms really seem kind of small. But there is a feeling about living in a place where, you learn so many firsts. Everything about the world is kind of you know, existing abstractly, but coming together and starting to make sense to you. You are kind of, you know, laying down those initial neural pathways and kind of the little anchors of memory and how we kind of put things together. And so it is like a very free zone, free landscape, kind of, right? No matter really what the circumstances are, because some of us have difficult childhood memories and events and things, and some of us have, you know, kind of more of a wholesome upbringing. But no matter what, you still have this kind of, the world seems so big, and where you kind of call home, or the places, if you moved around, they seem much more enchanted than they do as you get older, right? And so it makes sense that when you are a person who is on a intentional spiritual path, or very focused on kind of self-development, spirituality, your relationship with the divine, and these kinds of things, there could be a real instinct to return back to that perceived kind of pure place, that unsullied imagination. There are a lot less limits or boundaries that have been constructed. And so I think that it is common and normal to want to go back, right? Though I don't really know the true nature of time, or, you know, how things really happen. I perceive them as linear for the most part, so we're gonna work from that. But you know, I think that wherever our consciousness is on the path, right, our immediate now consciousness, as far as we understand time, I guess, in this moment, it seems, as a linear forward-moving thing, we can't go back to that state, right? Things are going to be rearranged forever and infinitely, continually. And so what do we do, right? What do we do? Well, we turn inward, definitely. We start to, I think, look for those sayings. And this is where this hanged man is going to come in. We're going to look for those things in our life that have become blockages. They impede our journey to a less complicated, a less cluttered, a less, muddied existence. And through, to get to that, we have to shed some skin, let go of some things. Sometimes do the thing that we don't want to do. The things that we cling to, our habits, our comforts, our our need for longevity and safety, and which are just perceptions, really. When we start to let go of those things, or our undying need for them, and for me it's like a sense of safety, or just the idea of finally getting somewhere in my life, where I can just be like, this, I'm never going to leave from this place. This is like it. I can know I'm never, this is my safe haven. You know, nothing will ever change. It just will get to the perfect place, and then I can just kind of relax and unfurl here. But that's not reality. You know, that doesn't happen even in the best circumstances. When you do, say, find a physical home that like stays in the family for generations or whatever, every breath things are changing, right? Around our own lives, our larger lives, and our larger communities, and the world, and the environment. Things are always going to be changing. Okay, so I think that a big hurdle I think that we are all always working on is, you know, this thing that we have about trying to always be getting somewhere, or going backwards or returning to, right? And instead, not either one, working within the now of what we are experiencing in this moment, or just accepting what things are for what they are, right? I know that you know, one of my terrible qualities is that I just am restless and always planning for things, scheduling things, trying to gather things together for the next thing that we have to do, or you know, the next interest I have or goal I've set, you know, and that's okay. But when I am in the thing that I've planned, I've spent time, you know, gathering the resources and the different materials and whatever. When I'm in it, it's hard to enjoy it. It's hard to be there, present in that moment, because I'm already thinking, okay, well, what are we going to do next? What's the next thing I have to think about and get on the schedule? And, you know, so, spiritually speaking, I think this happens a lot too. I know for myself, I'm always like lamenting where I'm missing, you know, my cycles of growth, or these like prescribed, you know, systems of grade and whatever. And I, you know, I don't belong to anything, but I do borrow from, you know, written materials and like the coursework and stuff from different systems. So, you know, it's easy to get into that mindset of always trying to build upon and kind of conquer each, you know, ritual, operation, process, whatever. So, let's see, what else do we have? I'm getting off on a tangent a bit, but okay, so this one for me, definitely looks like Saturn, and it kind of looks like a goofy version, but there's that famous painting, and I want to say it's Goya, but I think so. But anyways, it looks like a, you know, this kind of goofy, strangely shaped, monstrous old man holding one of his children up to his mouth. And so we have that, and listen, I'm a huge fan of Saturn and all things Saturnine, but you know, the mythology, not my favorite. Not my favorite aspect, but I do think of Saturn as an opportunity to do that kind of a tilling of the original soils, okay? Soils that are rich with nutrients and potential to grow, to foster life. But also, you know, there are some things in there that can be poisonous, can be detrimental. And so we have to go through these processes of, you know, exercising the soils, the prima materia of that lead. And the lead is the Saturn, or kind of the unrefined emotional states, unrefined knowledge. And it is a great privilege for all of us as conscious, intellectual, clever, creative beings to be able to go through these processes of refining our original soils, right? And so I think that this is very much it. I think it is very much in line with the card that we have today, which is the High Priestess. And this is from the Thoth deck. And you know, the priestess, I think, is often kind of, the High Priestess is kind of synonymous with the fertility and kind of, you know, sacred, hidden knowledge and these kinds of things. And, you know, to some degree true, I guess. It seems like every female archetype is, you know, related to fertility to some degree. But this one in particular is that kind of the virginal, untouched. She is the gatekeeper. The first thing that you're going to have to kind of get the nod from to begin the initiation processes. This is an opening initiation. So you do have to be prepared, open, and in alignment to catch her gaze. She won't look at you if you are not ready. Okay? The tricky part is, though, how does one prepare to begin this journey? Because you can't do it really through studying. It's not a matter of what knowledge you have, how much of an armchair occultist you are, or spiritualist, or anything else. It really is about that alignment of mind, heart, and soul, right? And you know, I have no answers as to how that happens, but the thing really, I believe anyways, is that if you have the calling to the self-work, whatever that looks like for you, you are already beginning, okay? There are not any wrong ways to do it. I am a firm believer in the quote that I often use, but kind of jumble it up, that there are as many paths to God or the divine or, you know, cosmic consciousness as there are souls or beings on earth or, you know, anywhere in the universe. And so it is unique to each of us. There is no right way. There is no prescribed method. And that's kind of really the riddle of the High Priestess. You know, how it may come to me, there are not words really to give you that, you know, that you have the advice, my own experience that will work for you, right? Or anybody else. They can't tell you. So it really is a matter of going to those places on your own, but in earnest, right? We have to actually do the work to get there. But what I can talk to you about is, well, as we talked about the Hanged Man up here, is that sacrificing of unnecessary things that are distractive, things that you know, you cling to for safety, for a sense of continuity, you know, just ultimately the things that take up all of our time and give us no time to do the work that we know that we should be doing, okay, or that we desire to do, that our heart desires for us to do. I want to look at this one because the cup seems to get really dry and I don't want to lose it before. But we have right here on the rim, which is so beautiful in my mind, because on the rim, this is the space of the metaphysical, the space that we get messages from the guardian angel, from ancestors, relatives, or, you know, loved ones that have passed, but also the beloved, right? Where the universe really speaks to us. And I want to get it just in the way that you can see. It is an L, V, and an X. Okay? And if you don't know what that is lux. Okay, so the V in Latin is the U, in, I guess, in the English alphabet. But this is the spiritual light, right? The spiritual sun, the light of the spiritual sun, the activation of divine knowledge and wisdom. And really just maybe the actual part of the thing that unlocks that first opening ceremony we talked about with this, with the High Priestess, okay? Because I think of that spiritual light as kind of that feminine, Sophic energy, okay? That blinding white, you know, just swimming in that bright, bright light. That maybe that light that people talk about when they've had near-death experiences, right? Something, it's just bathing in it. And you know, this is really kind of this is a concept that I think it comes from the Golden Dawn, the specific lux, but is in all, you know, esoteric. It goes by different names. So I think for you, really very much part of that path that you are kind of already set out on. All things seem to be aligning for you to do this work. And I think that, you know, part of what maybe gets in your way is just the lack of time, lack of ability to give all of yourself for prolonged periods of time to kind of, you know, study, prepare, and execute whatever your spiritual systems look like, or practices, techniques. It can be very time consuming, right? I mean, I think this is why a lot of people who give their entire lives to spiritual practices end up being very solitary or uncoupled, you know, aside from, you know, it being part of the tenets of whatever religious system. I think that it makes sense a lot of times when a person ends up, you know, never coupling, or going through periods of their life where they're uncoupled, because they are living in this relationship with the divine God, married to God, or their, you know, beloved or whatever, and doing this work. And it's, you know, it can appear from the outside to be very selfish work, right? Because it's very, you know, it's kind of transient between that interior and outer world, but it doesn't give a lot of room for communing with other human beings, you know, existing in their corporeal bodies. So, yeah, anyways, let's see. I'm kind of seeing, excuse me, I have a little bit, thankfully over the sick, but now I think it's a little bit, it's the allergies that are getting me a little tickle here and there. Okay, so we also have a couple of formations here that look like kind of somebody on a bed rising up, kind of rising up even more here. And then even on this one, it kind of looks like laying on a bed or some kind of, what is the word? Like a barge or bark, I think it's called, like a celestial ship, right? And so for me, I really do believe where we have been having trouble finding time or, you know, the exact thing that is going to kind of get you flowing in this work that you want to do or are doing. I think that something that would be really helpful, because this is kind of, you're going to sleep anyways, right? And the practices and techniques that will help support this kind of work, yeah, they do take some time, because it's like journaling, writing, you know, whatever you can recall from your dreams. Kind of like the methods of lucid dreaming, which you can look up exactly what those are. But really what it comes down to is keeping kind of a notebook or your phone or something. Maybe not your phone, because the light, you don't want to turn that on in the middle of the night. But having something that you can write, maybe just a couple words or like an impression or a symbol or whatever, on something next to your bed during the night as you're dreaming and waking up and kind of taking notes, or when you wake up in the morning, writing it down before you lose it. And this kind of promotes the process of, excuse me, intentional recall. So as you practice this more and more, your brain gets into, you know, a position of thinking, okay, we want to remember, we want the details, we want the narrative. And I think you remember more and more as you become more intentional about partaking in your dreams and bringing them back into your waking life. So doing things like this, but then also using your dreams as a place to, and this is very much with the High Priestess energy, kind of being a little explorer in your unconscious or subconscious, and getting in there and looking for artifacts, you know, looking for those symbols and signs and tropes and themes and, you know, feelings and impressions, and bringing them back as much as you can into your conscious world, okay? And not necessarily activating them or anything like that, but just taking note of what you are finding there in those dream spaces. Another way that you can do this, if you're not so keen on that dream stuff, you can do the, you know, taking like 20 minutes to do like active imagination work. You could do, what is it called? Like word association, just quickly associating things, ideas, words, symbols to each other, and just writing them down with no editing. You're not trying to, it's not, you know, you're not writing something, sentences, concept, whatever, like a coherent whatever paragraph or whatever sentence ideas. But you are kind of digging through your subconscious by doing that, okay? And also meditation, of course, vision work, path working, these kinds of things. Let's see, what else can we look at here? Now I've seen in this, and I'm going to show you right here so it doesn't shift, but we have a flag, and then in the actual bowl we also have flags, a couple of them. So I feel that during this time of, you know, kind of a focus on the interior work stuff, trying to turn some of your time, your downtime, free time, whatever you have, into more productive spiritual work or intentional spiritual work. I feel that there's almost like a, you know, a need to kind of resolve some of maybe your home issues or domestic issues, just so you're in a place where you're not really, I don't know, what is it? You're not really being perceived as taking time just for yourself, you know, just to kind of like, you know, be wasteful of other things you could be doing. But maybe, you know, this is or just that maybe it's the energies in the home, or in your family life or friend group or whatever it is. But I think just resolving some small issues so they are not interfering with the time that you have to do this work, instead of like kind of sitting around and thinking about that stuff. I also see a little heart kind of floating around on the water. I feel that, you know, there's some matters of the heart. I don't know if it's romantic or not, but it seems like it's kind of in a bit of an emotional place here, kind of moving around and trying to navigate some of that. So maybe that has to do with the flag. I don't, you know, maybe there's some kind of, you're at odds with somebody who is important in your life, and just kind of have to approach this thing head on and get it resolved. I don't think that, it seems minor because these are tiny little pieces here. So I don't think it's like, you know, a super big deal, but it probably is just a matter of surrendering some of your ego and, you know, maybe taking ownership of whatever you have done or not done or whatever it is. Okay, I want to thank you so much, Leo. I appreciate your time as always, and I'm always so honored to bring these messages to you. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps me get in the algorithm. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please think about doing so. You can hit the little bell thing. It'll tell you when the next videos are coming out. Other than that, if you want to leave a comment, I love to hear from you. I appreciate each and every one of you. And that's our reading. So we will talk again in about 7 days. Thank you, thank you, thank you.